Hello, everybody, and greetings to you all from Okaloosa Island, Florida. We are live. This is Ask Us Anything, and it is Sunday night. And what a week it has been.
It has been a full week.
Holy cow. I think where we were last week, and many of you were asking us, well, are you guys, you seen anything changing and affecting us with this coronavirus? And we said, no, we've got a full schedule. We're all planned. And wow, what a difference a week can make. We've got a lot of you online already, and it's great to see you. We always do a quick shout out to the first person that we see that tuned in, and it is First Motorhome, who says, "Hi, guys," with thumbs up. And we're glad to see you, and thank you so much. It's great to see so many of you there. Phyllis Carr, our social media guru and our moderator, reminds us that if you have a question for us, start it with questions all in caps so we can pick it out easily as we go through. There'll be many, many of you there, and sometimes it's hard to find all those questions or comments. And so we'll do our best, and let us know. Now let's get to the elephant in the campground, which is the coronavirus, COVID-19, as it is increasingly being called, as it becomes more of a world problem. And my goodness, it is a world problem. For RVers, we want to let you know that there are a number of changes since we last talked to you. We did an update live on Friday that has already been viewed over 10,000 times, where we outlined that we were hearing some of the problems involving state parks around the country that were being closed. Their campgrounds are being closed. And since then, many other things have happened. So let me just give you a list. I made a list of notes here.
I'm being distracted by an elk hound who demands pets.
Bo is with us
Will
today.
not stop.
We should tell everybody that we're coming. Move your head and they can see. We are
From
at the beach. Not a bad place to be stuck, right? When you have to social distance. We've been on the beach. I'm a little sunburned. I had a hat on, so I covered up most of my head. But here's what we know is closed, and we want to just go over this. And this, as you know, things are very fluid, and you can expect more. But in terms of RV events, pretty much every RV show that has been scheduled around the country has been either canceled or postponed. And I'm including all of the shows that we normally talk about in our podcast. We run a big list of them. This is the height, really, of the RV show season. Almost all of them have been closed. Many states have prohibited gatherings of over 250, some states over 500. But out of an abundance of caution, many of the show organizers have canceled their shows. And rather than to go through every one that's canceled, let me just say, if you were planning on an RV show, check it out with the organizers in your area or whatever area it is. But I wouldn't count on any of them for at least a couple of weeks. They've all been canceled. Along with that have been some big RV events. The biggest of them all being the FMCA's rally that was scheduled for Tucson. Early in the month, the FMC announced they were going to have that rally. They weren't concerned about the coronavirus, but just this week, as the situation developed into a national emergency, out of abundance of caution, again, the FMCA, which usually they get about 1,000 rigs there, so several thousand people. They're all close together. They're in seminars and workshops on trams. Wisely, I think they decided to cancel that event, and they did. They have another rally that's scheduled for summer. That still is on. I forget what state that is in, but stay tuned. It's, as we said, very fluid. Also affecting us, we had expected to be journeying up to Lake Gunderson in Alabama this week to speak at the RV Entrepreneurs Summit. That event, the live portion of that, has been canceled. The organizers are moving to put it online next weekend so that you can tune in online and be able to see that. Our section, we will be doing a live online update, ironically, next Sunday, I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be on live, and I will put links to all of that on our Facebook group, and you can find that Facebook group by just, if you're not a member, go there. I will put it there. I will also tweet it out on Instagram. If you haven't followed us, that's where you'll find us on Instagram. So we will tweet out the link and everything to that later on. But the RV Entrepreneur Summit, the live event is canceled. There'll be a online version Saturday. They'll be doing that from a studio that they've booked up in Alabama. And then some of us, like Jen and I, will check in remotely and go on live on Sunday. Our time is 2 p.m. Sunday. So look for us there. And you will.
Central Time or Eastern?
That's Eastern time. Yeah,
Okay.
Eastern time. Good point. That's a great point. So let me dump a couple of these things. I don't need to put those up anymore. We'll take that out. Almost, as I said, all RV shows, the RV Summit, the big FMCA rally canceled. Now, along with that, and this is some of the stuff that has concerned a lot of RVers the most, we've received a lot of email, campgrounds. The state of New Mexico has canceled all campground reservations and has shut their campgrounds down because of the coronavirus concerns. Along with that, in Arizona, the Navajo tribal campgrounds, there are 4 of them that are extremely popular. One's on the Little Colorado, one's the Four Corners Monument, there's Lake Powell, and then there's, Chile, Canyon de Chile, very popular. Those have all been closed, in the Navajo tribal campgrounds. The state of Pennsylvania, the state of Massachusetts have selectively closed some state campgrounds. You'll need to check with them to find which ones are open and which ones are closed. And in Louisiana, the Bayou Signeti State Campground, State Park Campground, where we stayed at it about a year ago this time we were there, because of its proximity to New Orleans, which is a hotbed of virus infections. That campground, Bayou Signeti in Louisiana, has been closed for camping. So there are the list of everything that we know of. National park campgrounds are open. And there are other things open as well. Most private campgrounds around the country. We interviewed for the podcast on Wednesday a guy who works with 1,700 of them, and they are all open. Most have vacancies. They're welcoming people. The Boondockers welcome almost 1,700 member sites there. The Harvest Host organization, they have well over 1,000 locations. Those are all open. BLM lands, Corps of Engineer Park campgrounds, most boondocking sites are open, and you can go in and boondock. So lots still open. That's a long list. We will do our best to keep track of it, and because it changes so often, we'll probably do another live event, and we'll list it if we can ahead of time on the Facebook group and in the community tab here on our YouTube channel. That's a lot of happening in a week, isn't it?
It is.
Now, I've gotten lots of emails from you. I've had several from Canadian snowbirds who have been spending the winter either in Florida or in the Southwest, and they're wondering, what do we do? Can we get back into Canada? And the answer to that, I checked, is yes, you can. You're Canadian citizens, just as with the travel ban affecting Europe and the UK. Americans are allowed back in. You're not kept from coming into your country. It's the same in Canada, so you don't have to worry about that. There's a lot of crazy rumors and panicky stuff going on, and we're doing our best, the moderators on our Facebook group, to take out a lot of that stuff. But I want to, one that has come up several times is, and it's fake news, is that interstates will be closed. There is no plan to close any interstates. That would be almost impossible to enforce. So that is not something that I think you have to worry about at this point as an RVer. Be careful about passing on rumors in times like this. I shouldn't have to tell you guys. You are a loyal group and you know all this stuff. Just be calm. I mean, in one sense, this is if it's going to happen, this is the better time of year for it to happen for us, because the camping season in most of the U.S. and North America has not really begun. Down here in Florida, We see a lot of RVers, and they're all doing just great. So there you go. I'm going to go through now. We'll take some of your questions. We'll come back to this if you want. I'm not an expert. I've tried to keep up with it as much as I can, probably way too much. Huh? There is such a thing as information overload. Just where we are here in the Panhandle on the Emerald Coast, Okaloosa Island, it's hard for us to notice any real changes at all, is it? Can you notice
No, the supermarket shelves are well stocked. You can buy
anything you want?
whatever
Yeah.
you want, because I went and picked up some coldies today, some in zinc,
Yeah.
and I thought they'd be out, and there were lots.
Yeah.
So everything's pretty normal here.
Yeah, I mean, we even bought some cleaning supplies, didn't we? There was some cleaning supplies, and I saw all of that. And food supplies are adequate. There's plenty of food, and it's been. I mean, we went to church today. Our church was open. There's no ban on gatherings. It was
And
good.
it was very easy. I mean, we were like 5 minutes late. We snuck
always late.
We snuck in the door and sat down and snuck out, and we weren't in contact with anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Yeah,
just kind of in and out. And last night we went out for dinner because we didn't know what's going to happen with eating out. And Mike and I both have a favorite restaurant down here. We were like, one person was ahead of us, and
we were the
again,
first in.
we were there as soon as they opened, and we ate outside.
Can you tell we're old people? We're at the
It
restaurant
was
when they
much
opened.
too early. It
was way too early,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not going to do that again.
We thought it would just be very crowded because it's spring break season, and
But it did. When we left, it was crowded.
now I'm looking out over our street in the condo. I don't see a lot of traffic. I don't see, I did see a sign of hope. There was a wedding on the beach just an hour or so ago out in front of us. So that's
and speaking of weddings, we mentioned our friends who their
Yeah.
son was getting married next weekend, and he's in the military, and they're on high alert. Can you imagine having your wedding plans all set and having to put them off indefinitely?
yeah,
So.
and that is tough. It is
Yeah.
tough. So I don't have to tell you guys this. You RV, you go with the flow by nature. You guys don't panic, and I think that's the whole key for us. All the signals is that in a couple of months, things are going to be pretty much back to normal. I noticed today that all the industry has started up in Wuhan, where this all began just a few months ago. It has peaked. It's on the decline there. And we are much more aggressive, much more aware of it than any other country on the planet right now. And we're
And
both.
we can learn.
Yeah, we've learned from everyone else, and we just need to be a little flexible and a little understanding,
And have some quiet time.
yeah.
Catch up on a book.
For us, it's-
Dream about where you want to go, and you can get back traveling again. And
Well, speaking of that, you get to answer our first question. Since you talked in, it comes from First Motorhome, who says, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would your dream RV be?
my dream RV be, well, I like my B plus.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with what I have. I don't want an A. I don't want a great big one. I'm very pleased with what we have.
I think I would maybe get one more. I would get an extra one, another RV, and I would probably go with that new.
Mr. Short attention span here.
No,
No,
I've
you
been
like
paying
new.
attention. The Ford Wonder on the 2020 chassis, or the Wonder on Leisure Travel Van's Wonder on that 2020 chassis. The Transit chassis has completely changed, just like the Mercedes did that we love so much. And I like the layout of the Wonder. It's got all that storage underneath. We can take our bikes, but having two RVs is probably not a good idea. Kelly asked a
Rent one
question.
out.
How bad does Bo shed, and what do you do to mitigate the fur?
Bo really sheds.
We could
He is
make
our fourth
sweaters
He is
out
our
of them.
fourth elk hound. We had two females. They shed worse. I mean, clumps of fur would come out, kind of like a Siberian husky. It just sheds. I mean, there's dog hair everywhere. I just read a couple of months ago that elk hounds aren't supposed to be bathed. We've always had our elk hounds bathed because it loosens the fur, and plus they get pretty stinky. But you just brush them. But his fur, it comes out, but it doesn't come out with brushing that easily. You just brush them, get them bathed, have somebody, a professional person, groom them.
Now we arrived
We have
here.
dog here. Lots
We
of
arrived
dog
here
here.
Monday, and then you spent I don't know what day you came and you cleaned out the RV, and
Yeah.
then we washed it a little bit yesterday. No, we didn't wash it. That was a
I
car we washed.
yeah, the car got it
Yeah,
yesterday, and the
but
interior vacuumed it out.
yeah,
We live in dog here.
but we swept all that out, and it's squeaky clean and ready for our next
It's clean.
adventure. Our next adventure.
You can't fight the dog here. I mean, I do my best. Clumps of hair.
Yep. He's right. I
He
don't
will
think I
not.
can show him.
He will
Hang on.
not leave me alone. I get a cold snout on me. He
There he
wants
is. He's over by.
perpetual pets.
Well, he knows you're talking to somebody,
And
and he
yeah,
doesn't know who it
want to be
is.
left out.
I think it really surprises him, and he wants to know.
I get a cold nose on my arm.
Eric asks us, what the value of your Mercedes chassis safety features like drive assist worth the money? Well, I guess the question is, Eric, do you expect to trade it in someday? If you expect to trade it in, it is very valuable because that will get you more money from it. 'Cause the next people down the line will certainly want that.
Does everybody want drive assist?
Drive assist is kind of. I'm just now getting used to it. And what it does is, if you're set on cruise control, which I often will do for mileage, if somebody pulls in front of you, or you catch up with a car or a truck ahead of you before you're going to pass, it'll slow you down, and you'll match their speed. I just don't like giving up that control, but it's good. And I just found out now how I can adjust that and make it kick in when I'm farther away. So I'm kind of glad I have it. I like the other safety features. If you start to stray over one of the lines, go out of the boundaries, you'll get a little vibration, and that alerts you. I think that's all good.
That's good.
We added blind spot detection to ours as an addition, and that's real nice. So I think safety features, you can never go wrong, and I think they're always worth the extra money, in particular if you're going to resell your unit. Don't you think, Jen?
Yeah. But I'm just thinking of one person I know who doesn't like giving up that control because it starts to break and it makes her like, what's going on? Or she doesn't like it. But I think it's like anything. You get used to it, and there's more good than bad.
Yeah. Douglas Call asks us, what changes are you seeing in your RV adventures now that COVID-19 is having a very negative effect on travel? Well, for us, that means we're not going to Alabama this week. I suppose we could go up there, and there's still some people camping there, but since we're not speaking there, and we can do it live from here, I think we will. For us, it's very minimal effect. We do have some trips, a month and a half out that we're planning. We were planning to go to Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, and I'm not sure
We
when
don't know
we'll
what
go.
tomorrow brings.
But the way we travel, we have that rule, that serendipity rule, and so it's not too hard for us to say, well, we don't have anything hard and fast. Generally we want to go there. We have some major trips planned during the summer that will take us into the Canadian Rockies and then down the Pacific coast into California. That's way out there. I don't have any indication to think that that's not going to happen. So. The one change is that we are probably going to stay put here in our condo for a month or so until we see what shakes out. It works out great for me because if you're a regular, you've followed us. We have been on the road for about a month collecting and doing video stories, so I can edit those stories. And I just put one up yesterday on Central Florida where we never have been to We've heard of these over 55 RV communities, and we wanted to know what they were like. So we visited one, and then we also visited the Villages, which is a residential community, but a lot of RVers are there. Actually, other RVers told us about it, and so we went and saw it. And that video's up, and I've got like a whole bunch more that take us down to the Keys and the Everglades, and we'll be working on those. So this is kind of a good time for us to hunker down.
It's not all bad.
Not all bad. And how can you feel bad for us doing our social distancing on the beach? 70. It's been a spectacular week. Sunny, clear skies, 76 to 80 degrees every day. It's pretty hard to feel sorry for us. So
I wish we
haven't
could
changed
invite
much.
you all down.
I do too. I like it. Bill Sprague says the fam is all together. That's what you guys feel like on Sunday nights for us. We really do feel like this is a family, and like Jen says, I wish you'd come on all down, you know, just stay 6 feet away from us. And then, yeah. Oh, we got to laugh at some of this, don't you think? We can't be so serious. I mean, it's
Laughing is good.
it,
Crying and
it
being
is
scared
it
is
is really
bad.
good. Lots of you saying hello, and I'll come back maybe to some of those. Bernard Leach, do you know if they're still having the Super B show this year? Uh, as of this moment, yes, they are. But that's a little over a month away now, and I think we're going to see more and more cancellations of all events. And I know Arizona in particular is being very aggressive. There's some rumors that they may close state campgrounds there yet. They haven't done it yet, but there's rumors that they may. As I mentioned earlier, the Navajo campgrounds there have shut down, and those are very popular RV campgrounds. So I don't know. They have to make a decision. I did talk to the folks who run the Super B show this past Friday. It is still on. They're taking it day by day, but they may have to close it. I hope not. We were not planning on going to it, but we were able to look at our schedule, and on Monday we decided we can make it. Well, now all of this has come up, so maybe we won't make it. But if it's on, I think our plan is
If
to
it's
go.
on, we plan to go.
We now plan to go. So
Our carrot out there is our grandson too.
we have a grandson who moved out that way.
So
And when we were out in Arizona in February, we just fell in love with camping out there. That's going to be a little warmer than it was when we were there in February.
you hear that, Bo?
Yeah. And so we're planning right now. We just don't know. Are the beaches bare or busy with spring break? Well, spring break has just started. It started really last week. We noticed a few, and I noticed today because most of the people come in on Saturdays. A lot more young people. We are in a part of the Okaloosa Island is not a heavy spring break crowd.
It's not welcoming to spring breakers. Put it nicely.
Yeah, let me just what a lot of the communities have done is really crack down on too much drinking and partying on the beach. And so what they do down here when they catch these kids drinking on the beach is they take them, they process them and take them directly to jail. And then
They take them by the busload.
but yeah, so you'll see. Now I haven't seen that happen this week. It'll probably start next week. But they have ATV patrols up and down the beach. The deputies do. They'll pull these kids. They'll take their names. They'll write them a citation. They'll form them and put a large group. I don't know how they'll do that now with the virus. They put them on a
Yeah,
bus.
they probably can't do that anymore because they take them, they put them in a group and take them on a bus.
So all these young girls in their bikinis, they're taken to jail. And then they call their parents and they get bonded out for $100, $200, whatever. But the other thing they do is they put their picture in the newspaper. And we've since heard that some of the kids think that's a great badge of honor and they blow those pictures up and make posters for their dorm rooms. But, kids are kids. All that is going to change a lot. It hasn't happened in this part of Florida, but we've seen it now. I think California today, Ohio, and Illinois have asked all restaurants and bars and breweries and wineries to close. And I think we're going to see that pretty much the standard across the country. So that's going to affect spring breakers a lot. But this is not the area where it's not a heavy spring break area. They keep it down, as we said. We're seeing people. There are families here. A lot of them came in yesterday in the condo building that we're in. And but the crowd is not that busy. I'm looking at a parking lot of the condo complex next to us, and I would show you, but it's too hard to pick the camera up. And it's probably
It's pretty empty.
yeah, it's basically empty. I can see.
They say break starts, the 1st of March. I
Some
know
of the
in
colleges.
Michigan, it's the first full week or first week in April.
Yeah, and so it's not too crazy right now. Chip says, "Will you be virtual for the RVE Summit?" Yes, Chip, we will. Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be on for the RVE Summit. And again, I will put a link to all of that, how you can find us and get to it and get a ticket. And it's open. You don't have if you already registered, you'll get a ticket. But if other people want to tune in, they're still selling tickets to it. And I'll put links to all that when I get the correct link from them on our Facebook group. Sharon says, have you heard anything about the Florida state campgrounds closing? No, I haven't. They're still open. There is no indication at this point. I mean, okay, how about this? Disney World is closed, right? Disney World's closed, but Fort Wilderness is open. In fact, Fort Wilderness, which you can never get in, has openings, and they're giving a 20% discount. So, so I have not heard anything about any of the state park campgrounds in Florida closing. That's not to say that they won't, but the only restrictions I know are two of the counties west of us, Santa Rosa County up in the Panhandle, and Escambia County, which is up by Pensacola, have banned gatherings over 250. They are not in our county, which is Okaloosa, nor have they in Walton, and nor have they in any of the other counties that I know of in Florida at this point. So they are still open. Everything can be changed. Are there more outbreaks of COVID-19 in Florida than Michigan? If so, will you head north? No, we have no plans to head north. First of all, back in Michigan right now, it's 35 degrees. This is my Apple Watch. I have it tuned to Michigan. And right here, it's 7. How much is it here?
I don't. Mine just locked me out.
Oh, let's see. And right here,
It's 75.
75 right now. So would you go back to Michigan when it's 75 and sunny here? No, we're not going back. This is a great place. And they're not panicking here. I mean, you can still buy toilet paper, cleaning supplies, food. The supermarkets are stocked. We've been almost everywhere. We went to Sam's the other day. There were plenty of things to get there. I think that they're used here to preparing for hurricanes, and they don't panic like we're seeing in many of the other countries. My daughter, Wendy, is sending us photos from Michigan of supermarkets that are totally out of meat. Her supermarket today in the Detroit suburb, out of meat.
Usually Sunday isn't a good day to shop.
No,
Usually
it isn't.
Things are pretty well picked over. They have to restock, but it is empty. I mean, there was nothing to buy.
Yeah. Gary Martin says, have you heard any Canadian snowbirds leaving Florida? I've read that their insurance is being canceled.
That we don't know
Now,
that.
see, that's don't believe what you read. I mean, that's the kind of thing. I wish I hadn't put that question up, because somebody's going to say, oh, no, there are so many rumors going around, and you can't believe that. Now, I don't know what kind of insurance. Maybe you're talking about medical insurance. That would be astounding.
Seems
if
like
that
there
was
would be
true.
an announcement.
There would be
all
a
Canadians
major
get home.
Yeah, and
Get out of
and
the
that
United
hasn't
States.
happened. So be careful, folks. And Gary, I know you don't mean any harm with this, and I'm not picking you, but can I use it as an example? That's how panic starts. People say, "Oh, I read this, or I heard that, or I'm seeing this," and somebody, like I said, somebody said, "Oh, they're going to shut the interstates down." No, they aren't. There's no plans to do that. Now they may have containment areas, as we've seen, and stuff, but those kind of rumors are more damaging than any of the issues that we're going to see with this virus. So be careful of on social media in particular, because there's a lot of so we say emotionally challenged people on social media who might read something like that, and then they'll just spread it everywhere. And we have to be really responsible in
Well,
what
how
we say.
would Canadians call somebody in Canada and ask about their insurance?
Yeah, I mean, if you're worried about it, call. Yeah, that's the
That
first thing
seems
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any experiences with any of the regional leisure travel van clubs? We're not members of any of them. We've been to a rally in Montreal last year. We were invited up to that in June, and we had a great
We had a
time. Even
wonderful
though we didn't
time.
speak French, they all spoke English and were
They
nice
were
to us.
kind to us.
And that's we
no,
were
at Tampa.
at the Tampa RV show. The Flamingos invited us to come and have dinner with them and just introduce ourselves, and we did that. So we just thank the world of all those groups and all those travel clubs. What do folks think of truck campers as RV lifestyle vehicles? Class A, B, C, and travel trailers seem to have universal RV resort access. Truck campers do not. That's true. That is true. You don't see many of them. They're fun. Our friends, the Mortons on the Move, did have a Lance camper, and they brought a lot of notoriety through their website and YouTube videos. But I noticed they just switched to a fifth wheel. So I think it's the unsightliness of a truck camper sitting on those stilts in the campground. That many of the private campgrounds just don't like that. State parks, you're fine, but it's the private ones that are probably a little persnippety and a little elitist about that. But there are some really nice. We went through all of the Alliance truck campers at the Tampa show, and we're really impressed, weren't we?
Yes, we
Yeah,
were.
really comfortable. That's great.
We've been on half an hour, and for half an hour, I've had a nose
Is he still
on
there?
me. If I don't keep petting him, my hand has to keep moving on him.
Does having a slide out reduce your opportunities for stealth boondocking? No, we don't do. I mean, if you mean in a city stealth boondocking, no, we don't do that anyway. I mean, I've spent enough of my life as a journalist in cities. Half the reason I RV is so I don't have to go near cities. We don't stealth camp in cities.
Now, if you
And when we
wanted
boondock, there's nobody else around, so we can put the slide out. And when we stop at a Cracker Barrel, we can put the slide out. And if we stop at a Walmart, which we very seldom do because there's Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome and lots of other places to boondock.
and our
but-
slide isn't that large. It only goes
only-
out 2 feet.
Yeah.
And if you really wanted that stealth camping, you probably want just a plain van,
Yeah,
not something that looks like an RV
yeah.
with all the whatever they call it, decals or whatever.
Just to break the tension a bit with all this virus talk, what TV do you guys watch? Sports, films? Very little. We just watched, what did we watch? Bluebird.
Bluebird Cafe.
Bluebird Cafe. It's a if you're a country music fan, you know the Bluebird Cafe is where all of the Nashville songwriters go. And we found a documentary that we watched on Amazon Prime the other night and loved it. It was great. We also watched the Ken Burns documentary on country music, which we found to be a really more history than anything else. We love Ken Burns as a filmmaker, and that was a great series. I
We
watch
watched
a lot.
Dolly Parton. We watched it.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
kind of been on a country.
Yeah, we have been on a country music thing.
Well, that's because our kids recommended a couple of these things.
Yeah, and I watch a lot of news. I'm still pretty much a news junkie because I'm a journalist at heart. I tell stories. But we don't watch a lot of television.
Can't stand the commercials.
Yeah. Well, that's why we can stream, with
Yeah.
Netflix and Amazon Prime, all that
Yeah.
stuff. That's good. Any recommendations? Send them to me. We're looking for stuff to watch, particularly if we're
Particularly
going to
all
be down
get,
here for a long time. Yeah.
Particularly if they put us in and lock the doors. We're going to have to practice our singing so we can hang over the balcony and sing.
Yeah. Oh, that's where is
Italy.
it? Italy. They were doing that. Yeah. New to this RVing, should I call about our overnight reservation in South Carolina and our 4-night stay in Clearwater? Well, when is it? Is it this week? Is it next week? Is it in the summer? If it's in the summer, don't call. There's no reason to think that they wouldn't be open then. If it's next week or this week, call them up. Make sure
And you
it's
know
still
what?
good.
They'll say yes, but
But you could get there and
they're
everything
saying
can be
this
changed.
is going to peak, and they're saying it's going to peak. When did they say? End of April, first part of May. That's when they think. But
they
nobody
don't know.
knows.
They don't know. They're saying
They
a
don't
couple.
know.
You always look at how long have they canceled school for, how long have they told the restaurants and stuff that they have to shut down, and usually those are a couple of weeks. They can extend anything, of course, but all the expectation is that they're going to get a pretty good grip on this because of the precautions and the things that we've learned from other places where this virus was. We're able to incorporate them, and I have confidence that this is going to pass, and it's going to be a couple of unusual and challenging weeks. So go from there. Any recommendation for extra caution at fuel stops? If you can,
Have gloves.
many of them have. If you have diesel, you're used to seeing those little dispensers. I need to put those on anyway because I'm always spilling diesel on my hands.
You
and
are?
It just reeks. Use those little disposable
I thought
gloves.
it was a plot. You want me to pump gas
No,
so that I don't have to
no,
smell the smell of
no.
diesel.
So yeah, use. That's the only thing I'd suggest. And we have a lot of hand sanitizer. We were able to get my son actually. Our son Jeff sent us a care package of hand sanitizer. So we use that.
Pretty
when we
sad,
got-
isn't it, when the kids know they got to take care of mom and dad?
Yeah. So when you're at a fuel stop, try and use a disposable glove if you can. Let's see some other questions. Are you two planning to come towards California anytime soon? would like to join you at a meetup. Well, we would love to meet you guys too. Yes, well, we won't be there in the immediate future, but we will be there. We'll be all over Northern California. Right now, the target is the last couple of weeks of September. We'll be coming, we're going up the Canadian Rockies and then down through Washington, Oregon, and messing around Northern California and ending up the first week of October at the California RV show. We're in Fontana where we'll be. So, yes, we will be there. I should mention that we have been doing meetups regularly over the past month or so in our travels, and we were going to do one here in the Panhandle. We are not going to do that, even though only a dozen or so people usually come to our meetups. We're just going to put those on hold until we see where this all goes. So, but as soon as things look good, we will we'll be doing our meetups again, and it's really fun. We typically spend a couple hours, have dinner, hang out at a fun place. Either we did a microbrewery last week, and we were at an RV show in Ocala the week before that, and but none until we see where all of the restrictions go from here. Take us back, Mike. When you were an active daily news reporter, what was your RV schedule like? Well, there wasn't one.
Friday night, we'd go camping.
Oh, there was. Yeah, very early on when our kids were young. Yeah.
Yeah, when the 3 kids were, when we had a pop-up camper, Friday night, we would drive up to a couple hundred acres that your brother-in-law and sister owned on the river, and it was great fun, except for the middle son. He always hated it.
Yeah.
But the rest of us loved it.
And then our kids got old as teenagers, and we began to have their friends, and then we kind of just stopped, and we really didn't get back into it until really we did some tenting, 10 years ago, and then we went back.
Way back.
I mean, we started off in a trailer, 13-foot Shasta trailer. Then we went to a Coleman pop-up, and then we went to tents. And then we took a break and did the career thing, and then we started this lifestyle, and we're gone about 80% of the time. Mm-hmm. We started this. It was 8 years ago, the 1st of March. So that's where we are now. I should mention about full-time RVers and this coronavirus. I've had a lot of email from that, and a lot of people who, are wondering what's going to happen. Understand the numbers here. There are about 10 million RVers in the U.S. Maybe a million are considered full-timers, and they may be 3 or 4 months or 6 months or living full-time in a unit in one spot and not moving. Others move about regularly. Those are the ones who have been emailing us a lot and saying, what should we do? What should we do? And our thing is always have a plan B. If you're making reservations, make sure that there's places are still open. And then if not, be proactive. Where can I go if that campground shuts down? And you'll find alternatives. And that's our advice for those guys. So it's going to be just some challenges for all of us. And, if you've got a big trip you're planning in the next couple of weeks, you want to see where you're going and what that area is like. But I think you're going to find that this will pass. Have you heard anything about chassis availability, Mercedes-Benz ProMaster Transit with the virus situation? No, most of them are being shipped. I did hear from one manufacturer last week who has an order of the Transits en route to them, and the all-wheel drive Transits, which are one of the big new additions. I think that Ford 2020 chassis with all-wheel drive is going to be really a hot number for RVers. So they're being produced, they're being released. The 2020 Mercedes-Benz chassis are expected to start showing up at manufacturers come probably late May, June, maybe even into July. The ProMasters and the 2019 Mercedes are in the pipeline and being delivered. They are not being affected by the virus at all at this point, so we should be pretty cool. Have you had any major issues with your Unity?
No.
None. And we've had it a year now. Man, time goes by and we've put 25,000 miles on it. Maureen, just love the drive assist on the 2020 Pleasureway Plateau. There we go, back to that early question we had about the safety features. Safety features, more is always good. You know.
Because it's big. You're driving this big thing. The more help you get, the better.
Do you have any upcoming events in the Austin, Texas area? We don't. We plan to be there. Our plan was to be there towards the end of April, and we still may be out that way. I don't know, but we've put all of our meetups on hold until we see what the situation is with the travel restrictions and the advice of the CDC and the coronavirus task force. So, but our plan was to be there middle of April, and that still could happen. I know there'll be a lot of changes in the next week and in the week after that. So we will find out and go from there. Thank you for the vigilance to keep us informed. You both are the best. Well, thank you, Susan. That's really kind of you. We appreciate it. Douglas, agree with your measured and responsible approach to travel, and it sounds like staying in the condo over the next month sounds like a super smart idea, especially since Jennifer just invited you all down. I have to watch it because she really would. I mean, she would. We'll do, and yeah. I mean, you can't feel sorry for us down here.
Nobody's going to shed a tear for us.
Yeah.
We're in a nice spot.
Renee Horwani, commerce here in Michigan is slowing down. We're thinking it might be a good time to work a bargain on a travel trailer. You got it. And I just saw the president and the Fed announced today almost a zero interest rate. So this would be a very good time to get a travel trailer. Come on down, Renee.
You're saying this is a good time to sell and buy.
Yeah, this is. This is a really good time. Let's see. Okay, the virus can't survive heat or sun where it's warm and sunny. Well, it can. I mean, there are people down here who have the virus. It's spread person to person, and but all the information I have is that the virus on surfaces, when the temperature is over 65, it dies rather quickly. They still recommend, like when you push an elevator button, push
with your knuckle.
Yeah, use those disposable things on gas.
Try to get some gloves. Like they say, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Yeah, and it's hard to get the hand sanitizer, but if you do use that, it should be over 60% alcohol. The higher, the better, and that's not as effective as washing your hands. And so just remember all of that. Wow, Chris is in Illinois, and they have a family cafe, and they have to close it. That was just announced today. So, Chris, does that mean we'll have more time for you to do graphics and stuff? I'm sorry to hear that, Chris, and I hope it's very short.
That's a terrible thing for you to say.
No, Chris knows.
Chris knows you.
Yeah, Chris knows. That just came about today, and I think you'll see that happen in a lot of places. We saw a story last week when Michigan State University canceled classes like most universities around the country. They shot the empty classroom, and then they shot where everybody went. They went to the bars, and there's all these kids shoulder to shoulder in the bars. And I think, for a couple of weeks, they're trying to get to stop that, as they keep saying, that spike up. If they can make it do that, there's no way we're going to see more cases, particularly now that testing starts this week. I mean, massive testing. That's all ramped up, and you're going to see the cases just go high. But remember, all those people are already there. It's just that now we know about it. And what they want to do is, with all these restrictions, make that go like this instead of like that and then come down. I think that makes a lot of sense. And it's sad. It's going to be really hard for family businesses in particular.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Next couple of weeks will be interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to kind of go through here real quick and look for questions that we haven't answered before. I'm not going to pass along. I've seen some rumors, and somebody said this, and it's a friend said, and I'm not going to do that because it doesn't. A friend said that this happened to them, and it's just, you can't pass on stuff like that. Call if you have a question about like your insurance. You're Canadian. Call your insurance company. Like here. It was told last fall a few Canadian snowbirds that that they always have a specific number of days they're allowed to be out of the country.
That's
'cause
true.
It affects their medicines, not due to the virus. Good point. Thank you, Allentown girl, for that perspective. So yeah, you can't be out of the country for your insurance over so many days, but that's not because of the virus.
And then also, you can only be in the country so many days.
Yep.
There's a limit.
Yep. And here's the question. And here's that. And this I know is true. They're allowed 182 days in a 12-month period. Additional medical insurance is necessary often, and that's true because you've got that different medical program up there. So I'm not gonna get into any more rumors on that, and it's pretty crazy. Which states are better or worse for traveling with dogs?
I would say that, like in Phoenix,
Hot weather states?
hot weather states, because they're just so, they say you may not leave your dog in your RV, even with all your monitors and your air conditioning on and everything, you can't.
Yeah, yeah, and they have a law that, like it says, you can't leave them unattended. Hot states are probably the hardest because you want to make sure
And
that
I
your
don't know
pets.
out east. We don't go east that often.
Yeah, so
And I don't know California.
and we tell you this all the time. We love our dog and we travel with our dog, but it is a pain. Watch our Key West video that we'll have coming out in a couple of weeks. Trying to be in Key West with the dog, and look at the picture where the two of us and Bo were on a golf cart. Not a good idea.
No.
We'll show you.
It was a very bad idea, but, what can I say? Somebody told us it was a good idea.
Have you ever heard of retracing Lewis and Clark's journey in an RV? Mm-hmm. We not only heard about, we did it. And Ken Burns has a great documentary on that. Yeah, one of the most amazing pieces of American history was the Lewis and Clark expedition. At the time, 1803, it was the equivalent of landing a man on the moon was in our time in the 20th century. Just an amazing story. And most of those places that they write about in their journals, you can access and see, and many of them are little changed. And we did that 5 years ago, maybe. It was one of the most interesting trips that we have ever done. And I'd almost like to redo it again.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever stayed at the Auto Museum in Tallahassee? I'll be coming out of Georgia in Midway. I was thinking of spending the evening there. So we don't have a late day arrival home in Ocala. We've not stayed there, no, because we have a place just 35 miles from there, but there's a lot of great campgrounds all over Tallahassee, Fort Pickens State Park. There's 2 or 3 really nice private parks in Navarre, Florida that you can try. So good idea. 3:30 rule, don't go any more than 330 miles or stop by 3:30 in the afternoon. Gosh, come on, people. The border has not been canceled. Stop that. Stop it. Don't say that. That's not true. And maybe our moderators can go through and just take out those outrageous statements that people put. I don't want anybody saying that they heard it on our Ask Us Anything, that people put these ridiculous things out there. It's not true. Dan and Jan and Destin, we should have had dinner with you last night. We might not be able to have dinner at a restaurant. We head out for our first big RV trip to the Keys this weekend. Good for you. We just got back from the Keys.
You're gonna have fun.
We had a really great time. That was awesome. Let's see. The only travel restricts. Okay. I'm looking for questions. Let's see. And if you would put questions on the thing, I would be able to quickly scan through there. Your guides are great. Heard you mention how using iPhone, but also saw you using a DSLR. Which DSLR do you use? It's talking about our videos. I use the Canon M50, and that's my main camera. But we've been using the iPhone 11, which has a 4K camera, even better. The only problem with the iPhone, and you'll hear it on the video we just released yesterday, is it makes a lot of wind noise, even when we have a windscreen on it. So I'm trying to work that out, but we use that. That kicks me another question. I always get questions. Hey, we want to be bloggers. I think that this market is oversaturated. It really is. I did a check. There are like 300 couples now that are YouTube couples like us traveling around in an RV. I think we feel like we're their grandparents now because there's so many of them. I mean, it's fun to do, but so many of them think, well, I'll earn a living that way. And I want to just give you a reality check. You will not earn a living that way.
Well, if they can get their friends to give them money so that they can do that.
Yeah, you
But
can beg for,
when there's
yeah.
300 out
If it's
there.
just two of you and you want to live cheap, maybe your friends will help support you because a lot of people do that like through Patreon and stuff. But if you want to just do it for fun and have videos and stuff, go for it. That's how we started, and we were very lucky in that we started at just the right time, right after the recession, and there really wasn't a lot of other people doing this, and we were just blessed to have a quick following and get some notoriety from media, and it's been a crazy journey ever since. I don't want to crush anybody's dreams. Go do it, but just realize that there are a lot of other people out there that are doing this now. We go to these shows, but yeah, I follow you and like 25 other people. And wow. We like to watch them. We watch most of them. We do.
You do.
I do. Yeah, that's all I would do.
I know.
You skipped my question on your rig. Probably because I didn't see it. Class
Sorry.
B plus or C, thinking to convert to van life from Airstream Life. Okay, what's your question?
Oh, stop it, Bo.
That's what Bo wants to know. So many out there to choose from.
Okay,
Do your
skip
homework.
my question.
I don't know what your question is. You skip my. How am I supposed to know what that is? Okay, I don't know what his question
they're
is.
giving up a trailer and they're trying to decide between a B plus, or a C. So it depends on how much room he needs, how many people are traveling, if you have pets, where you plan on going, how long you plan on staying these different places.
Are you going to be full time? Are you going to be part time? Do you
Yeah.
have a lot of stuff you have to carry around with you?
Boy, and there's so many Bs, so many B pluses, so many Cs.
What kind of a tow vehicle do you want?
And you've got an Airstream.
Yeah.
I presume an Airstream travel trailer.
Yeah, I think it is. We love Airstream. Want to swap? We love Airstream. No, we do like Airstream. You got to go try them. I'd say go to an RV show, but they're not any going on for a few weeks
You
yet.
got to go to a dealer, and it's
And,
hard to find Bs, B pluses, and Cs.
yeah.
That's why that
A B plus-
the Super B show is like the best.
Yeah, if you are going to pick any show to go to, if they have it, it's in April. I think April 16th through the 19th, if I'm not mistaken, in Phoenix.
And if you're in Florida,
If
our
you
sponsor
if you're in Florida, Sunshine State RVs
has a lot of different Bs and B pluses.
Yep, we call them small motorhomes. If we just lump them, it's Bs, B pluses, Cs, and there are some differences between all of them, but they're small motorhomes, and I think that's what you're looking for. I'm not sure because I'm not sure what the question was, but
And it's a big
Try
thing
'em
to go
out.
from a travel trailer
Big
to
thing.
a motorhome,
yeah,
because your travel trailer, you leave it, you got your truck, you can take off and go do whatever you want. You got your motorhome. Most people use the motorhome, or if you have to have a car that you're towing, then you get big again.
question about national parks in Utah: limited generator use, no dogs allowed on trails. How did you keep Bo cool while you were hiking? Well, we got a secret. We went in March, and the temperature was in the 40s.
It was cold.
There was still snow on the ground in some places.
And when we went to Zion years ago, when we had
Yeah.
our other dog, we could not go anyplace together. We had to take turns,
Yeah.
and that's not fun.
No, we one of us would go out on a hike, and then come back, and then the other one would go, and it just was not fun.
It's not fun.
Because you couldn't leave the dog alone.
No, it's
Yeah,
too
yeah.
hot.
And that is the problem about hot weather travel with dogs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps it going. All right, running quickly down to our hour, and I want to scan here for questions. And I want to just say again, we do miss some questions. We do our best to catch them, but sometimes it's hard to talk, and there's hundreds of you on there. At this point,
If you
there are
won the lottery
429 of you watching us live, according to my calculation. And then by tomorrow, there'll be like several thousand who will watch that. Somebody just says, how bad is, we did answer that. How bad
Bo
is
really
Bo shed?
sheds.
And how do you
It's
mitigate
just awful. And somebody wanted to know if we won the lottery, what would we buy?
it? Yeah.
What-
Let's see. I'm looking quite, okay. Here we go. Did you know that you can stop at most RV dealers, repair shops, and pay to dump tanks and fill water?
Mm-hmm.
Good to know if campgrounds close. Boy, Allentown Grill, we got to put you on the payroll. That is a very good tip. We've mentioned it before, but yes, people always say, well, where can I dump my black tank? And many rest areas have them. Alabama, for example. I think Texas. Not all, but most of them do. Ohio has some. But you can almost always find, if you find an RV dealer, they all have a place. And maybe they'll charge you $5 or so, but you can do it. And that's a
Isn't
great
it more
one.
like 10?
Um,
What is our dealer?
five,
It's
yeah.
5?
But I think if you're, I don't know, it might be 5 or 10. I don't know. Most of the time they don't even charge me because I buy propane. I'll fill up from propane, and then if I want to empty it, they're really good about it. Okay, folks, can you see it's getting dark? We've got a couple lights on in here,
I
but it's
think
getting
Bo is
dark.
bugging me because I think he wants a walk.
He does. Yep. Hey, we got a super chat from Chris. Where's Camp Skunk now? I don't know. He's dropped off the radar. Sent him a bunch of emails, never got an answer. I don't know if he's still traveling anymore or what. He's gone. It might be because we moved from just a one brand specific RV, the Road Trek, to RV Lifestyle, which is for everybody. But I haven't heard from him and haven't gotten any answers around. I know he's around. I've seen him on Twitter and stuff, but don't know what happened. Everybody changes, people do different stuff, and move on. Hey, thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody for being here. And I'm looking. Did I miss anything really heavily? I don't think so. A lot of you on tonight. Lots of questions. I just want to reiterate: a lot of closings, a lot of cancellations. But you guys are RVers by nature. You go with the flow. And we're gonna all get through this just fine. Go on YouTube, watch a bunch of videos, get excited about the trips and the travels that you'll be able to make later on this year. And we will do our best to keep you informed on everything that we keep hearing. And places that you can go would be, if you just want to go to our Facebook group, we will post whatever we hear, and whenever we can, we will come on live and do updates here on YouTube. We'll have a pretty good interview on a real good interview. I mean, pretty good.
Pretty.
Yeah, we'll have an interview on Wednesday with a guy who's going to talk about private campgrounds and how they're responding in the coronavirus scare. And he's in touch. He works with 1,700 of them in all, and not a problem. Most of them, almost all of them, are open. He doesn't know of any closures, and it should be great. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Lots of information in the chat. Some of you I see are answering the question about dumping and the pricing there. That's always good. And follow us on Instagram. Thank you, Phyllis, for reminding that. We've been doing a lot. We want to get to over 10,000 on Instagram, and we're a little over 900 away from that. And that's where you can find us. If you haven't followed us there, go there. It's once again, it's let me get that up. Instagram.com/RV Lifestyle Mike. We also are on Twitter, and that's our handle there, RV Lifestyle Mike. And we want to thank Phyllis and thank Chris for being there tonight, and all of you. It's getting dark. Are we taking Bo for a walk?
We have to take Bo for a walk.
Yeah.
He's been after me just about this whole hour.
And in case you're wondering, Bo does not practice social distancing. He still insists that we take him to the dog park every morning, and that we do. So be safe out there. Wash your hands a lot. This too shall pass. We're all going to get through this together, and we will see you out there on the road. Bye-bye, everybody.
Happy trails.